Okay, everybody, here we are. Hubsan Zino Mini Pro. They finally jumped into the game. We kind of knew this was going to happen. We weren't 100% sure, but when they made this release about something new coming on the 23rd of April, everybody pretty much guessed it is a Mini. And you were right. So, with that, you've all seen the video, the promo video, the animation video that shows all the specs. And if we go by those specs, this blows everything else out of the water. So this is going to be very interesting. So here's what we're doing in this video. I'm going to give you the breakdown of DJI Mini 2, the Fimi X8 Mini, and the breakdown of Zino Mini Pro. And compare all three, tell you what every single one has, and then from there it'll be let's just wait and see what they bring us. But most importantly, just kind of compare everything, a little pre-game if you will, and also just educate you on maybe helping you decide what quad you might want to be buying here in the near future if you have your eye on all three of these. So you're definitely at the right channel when it comes to the Hubsan stuff. I know Hubsan very well. I've had a long relationship with them and all their quads. So I can kind of predict a lot of things they'll do, and we can talk a lot about history. So maybe that video will come in that history video lesson here will come in another video because I do want to make this about just what we have on paper, what we have in their little animated video, and not bust any balls and just hope that what they say is what we're going to get, or close to it is more what I'm thinking. So huge package that they are offering, and let's go to just straight into it and let's compare all three. Stick around, watch the whole video. You'll get every single thing that all three of these have, and then I'll do a little this and that at the end. So enjoy the video. Okay, so first we have the sensor. For the Zino Mini Pro, it's 1/1.3. You go to a smaller number, it's a bigger sensor. They are the big winner here. DJI Mini 2 has 1/2.3. Fimi X8 has 1/2.6, so Zino Mini Pro at 1/1.3. So they've got a larger sensor. We go into megapixels, and I'm not sure what they're talking about here. This is where I'm a little bit, like my mouth dropped, and I'm like, okay, what are they talking about? 48 megapixels. So you've got DJI Mini 2 at 12 megapixels. You have Fimi X8 Mini at 12 megapixels. Zino Mini Pro at 48 megapixels. That's not what we're going to see. I don't think they're specifically talking about video, full-time video there. So I don't know what that is, but they're claiming 48 megapixels. We'll just have to wait and find out on that. Aperture. We go to the aperture for the Zino Mini Pro. You have a aperture of 1.85. That is good. That brings in more light. Makes it a lot easier to work with your settings and get that color and everything else adjusted the way you want when you get into manual settings. So the lower you go, it's going to brighten things up. You go to the DJI Mini 2, they have a 2.8 in their aperture, and Fimi just says aperture f2. So we're going to take that as they have 2.0 or 2 point something, but we'll just say 2.0. Either way, Zino Mini Pro comes out the winner here and beats both of those. So then we have the zoom. And they're saying 6 times the zoom. Now, often those high number zooms are down into your lower video quality if you will. So we're gonna, say that could be six times zoom at 1080p. I don't know if they would be able to pull that off on 4K. Sure, they could pull it off, but I mean something that works and serves us. So right now they're saying 6 times zoom. They're not saying what it's under. I'm going to assume that's under a lower video rate, as maybe 1080. So the DJI Mini 2 has, just for example, it's lower in 4K. It's 2 times in 4K, and then when you go down to 280 or 1080, you get 4 times. So 2K, you're going to get 3 times zoom. So that's just an example. The higher video, 4K, as it gets down, you get more of a zoom, more times zoom. And then for the Fimi X8, it just says 3 times zoom. They don't specify exactly where. So that could be 4K, it could be 2K, it could be 1080. So we don't know, but they all do have zoom, and they are kind of questionable. Mini 2 is the only one that is exactly, we know exactly how much zoom for every type of video that you choose. HDR mode, here's an important one. DJI Mini 2 does not have it, and I say important just because HDR mode is usually pretty false on a lot of these quads. Budget quads claiming to have HDR, what that is with them is it's really not true HDR. It's your higher end quads are going to have that. So basically, I guess it's kind of like a preset. It's basically like when they have a preset where you can just do night flight, and everything in the recipe or formula to put that video quality together, it just takes you basically into a preset, or let's call it a LUTs. So that's what their HDR I think is going to be, but it's basically just going to be a preset is what I'm saying. So the Zino Mini Pro says it has HDR. We'll just wait and see what that looks like. And the Fimi X8 Mini has HDR as well. So the other thing is I don't know the bit rate, and that does play into the HDR effect. And I forgot exactly. I've read it or heard it somewhere, but I think you have. I forget what it is, but you have to have a specific bit rate or what have it to be able to pull off the true HDR. So let's go into frames per second. All 3 across the board here. All 3 of these quads have 4K 30. That's the max, and then as you drop down, of course, you can get into 60 frames and such. All they're specifying here is 4K 30. So we do have that on the Fimi X8 Mini, and we have it on the DJI Mini 2 as well. There is no 60 frames per second on any of these, and honestly, you don't need it. I don't really see it or notice it as anything that I need. So the next thing is the codec. We have H265 at 200 megapixels. I'm sorry, not megapixels, megabits per second. Sorry, I can't read my own writing here. But anyhow, 265 at 200 megabits per second. I don't know that my Canon here that I'm videoing with, I don't know that has that, but I don't know any drone that has that. So we'll wait and see on that one for sure, but that blows everybody out of the water if Hubsan is really doing that. DJI Mini 2, you only have the, I shouldn't say only, you have the 264, and I don't know what Fimi has. Their specs are a little limited on some stuff. They haven't published it all properly. So I don't know what Fimi, if Fimi has the 265 option. So with the Mini 2, you have just 264. the Zino Mini Pro, you're going to have 264 and 265. 265 is a smaller file size from my understanding, and then it's a little harder on your computer once you get into post and you start editing and stuff. I've continued using 264 on my quads that offer both. So 264 is what I use. It's a larger file size, but it's easier on my computer. Even though I have a high-end computer that can handle it, you know, if you're doing this all the time, it's pretty rough on a computer. So that really isn't a big deal to me, but it may very well be a big deal to some of you. So that's another big claim that they have that others don't have. Now let's go into the sync lease, and we're just going to talk about the Zino Mini on this one. Sync lease 3.0 is like their version of OcuSync, I guess. What you're getting there is, so your sync lease basically is your feed that you're going to see on your, we're going to say FPV on your screen here. So whatever device you're using, that's your playback quality, and they're saying that's at 1080 30 frames per second, which is a beautiful, beautiful, clean image when you're sitting there using this to fly. So this is connected to your controller. This is your first person view, and you know, you're getting up close to things. You want the detail. So like me, when I'm getting up real close to trees and branches and stuff, I want to be able to see that little branch. So if you have a crappy 720 feed, then you might not see that stuff and obviously crash. So that's great. And Hubsan has had some very good quality with their sync lease on our devices, as far as having a nice quality image to look at. So that's very good. And then we go into range. They're going to put themselves with the DJI Mini 2 on this one at 10 kilometers. Fimi X8 Mini is 8 kilometers. So DJI and Zino are both at 10. And you know me, I hate flying long distance. I don't like range tests. That's a total lie. I will test these things if that's what they claim. I always do. I just, you know, curiosity gets me. I want to see how close I can get to it. Often I don't make the record or break it. I can get very close to whenever these guys make these claims. And usually what the problem is, it's just not having that perfect condition of weather and such, because the battery is going to be completely maxed out and you're coming back dry if you're going to go that full range. So unless you've done a battery mod, but that's cheating, that doesn't count. So that's the range. And then let's get into the flight time. The flight time, I'm sorry, my voice is dry. The flight time, this is another one, blowing them out of the water. Remember, we're talking about this like this is gospel right now. Zino Mini Pro is a 40-minute flight time. We have no specs on the battery. Don't know if it's LiPo, LIHV, lithium ion, whatever. We have no idea what type of battery it is. We just know how Hubsan's history is with batteries. So there's a prayer there. Let's hope they get the science right. Their battery science has been just the downfall. Completely taking the enjoyment out of what you have in your quad, and can cause you to obviously fall from the sky when a cell drops out and cuts everything off. So flight time, DJI Mini 2, we have 31 minutes. We're going to call it 30 minutes. The Fimi X8 Mini is 30 minutes. And then, like I said, Zino Mini Pro, 40-minute flight time. We always can say these flight times on all these quads, it's going to be reduced from what they advertise. So especially once you get done doing all your settings, get your camera all set, and you know, get all your satellites and everything that you have to do in these quads, you're going to lose a little bit of battery time and flight time right there. But anyhow, I'm going to just make a prediction that it's going to be closer to a 30-minute flight time, if that. So And now we fall into the weight. The sub 250 is the whole kicker with these minis. That's what everybody is, that's the whole purpose of this being so small. That set sub 250. The first one to do it, of course, was DJI Mini. They went under 249 grams. So the DJI Mini 2 is sub 250 at, I want to say actually it's even lighter now because of the battery. I forgot exactly what it is, but it's like 247, 248 maybe. So the Zino Mini 2 is the winner here as far as weight goes. DJI Mini 2 is the winner here as far as weight goes. Zino Mini Pro, that comes in at 240 grams, they say. So we don't know the exact rate. It could be just a little bit less. They could be using just the number 249 just to show that they are under 250. But there's a lot in this quad. I just don't know where they're coming, how they're getting this, but our next topic on this will show you what's in this quad and how they're getting this weight is where I'm scratching my head. I don't know, maybe we just have a rubber band inside that we got to tighten up and send it in the air and it takes off, and that's how they keep it so light. But yeah, 249 grams. And then the kicker with Fimi X8 Mini, you can't say it's sub 250. It comes in at 258 with the only battery that comes with it at this time. Right now we have the promise of it being at 245 grams with the Pro battery. This battery's nowhere in sight. They're not selling it with this battery yet. You can't buy this battery separately yet. So it doesn't qualify for a sub 250 in my opinion at this point. And they better release that battery. I don't know if there's some issues there and they're just having testers using it and trying it out, because I did see one person with it. He had both batteries, but he's not doing hardly anything on his channel with it. So, I mean, those are kind of things that lead me to caution. So we're not going to call the Fimi X8 Mini a sub 250 quad. And then we have obstacle sensors. This is something that we could not talk about with the Fimi and the DJI Mini 2. So Fimi X8 Mini and DJI Mini 2, no topic. There's nothing to talk about as far as obstacle avoidance. Zino Mini Pro, front, back, and downward obstacle avoidance is what they're claiming. This is where I am most interested to find out what they've got, what they've done, and how it performs, because this is a totally new baby for them. Getting into the mini world, that's nothing new for them as far as making small quads. Making small quads of this nature, that would be new for them. But obstacle avoidance sensors, period, for Hubsan has never been done. So I'm very curious to see how they've done with that. Are these going to be true blue obstacle avoidance sensors, or are they going to work more like, more like just something that just kind of slows you down a little bit? Are they actually going to stop you from crashing into anything? And how well are they going to perform? As far as clarity and picking up obstacles like branches and things like that. We know very fine branches, especially ones with no leaves or anything, those are problematic for any quad. Wires, those are problematic for any quad. But we'll just wait and see what they bring us in that. But that's one heck of a claim right there. That's huge, huge that they are able to do that and still keep us at the sub 250. Cut. I forgot active track. Sorry, I'm editing this in. I did not talk about active track. DJI Mini 2 does not have active track. Fimi X8 Mini does have its version of active track, and Zino Mini Pro does claim to have active track. Put in your little squares on the subject you want it to focus on, and then your features work with that, and then works as a follow me type thing as well. So What all features work with that, I don't know, but it does have it, and I forgot to mention that, so I do apologize. Go back to the video. So now, as far as price and delivery goes, we don't know. We can only speculate, we can only guess, so that's what I'm going to do here. You have the price of the DJI Mini 2 and the Fimi X8 Mini, both at $399. Roughly, that's around about where you're going to find both of those. The Fimi X8 Mini did do a pre-sale. The first batch orders were at $319. Whether they'll do that again, I don't know. Maybe this will prompt them to continue with that low price to keep Hubsan out of the game or sway sales their way. But both of those are at $399. The Hubsan Zino Mini, with everything this thing is packing, I don't see how they can do $399. So I'm just going to make a guess on price here. I'm going to say $439. That's my guess. With these, obstacle avoidance and everything, I don't know how they can do it. So, it sounds like with everything they're putting in this has to be a higher price quad. So I think it's going to fall above the other two. As for release date, do not know that either. Again, all we have seen is just the specs written, and we've seen this animated video. So I don't know. I really don't know when we're going to get it. I'm going to just hope and pray we get it, say, July, August. I don't want to be into the fall and going into winter when this thing finally comes about, because I am definitely going to get it. So stick around on my channel for a whole lot more on this guy. I'm going to follow it real closely. I'm going to bring you everything I can when I can. And of course the Fimi X8 Mini as well. I'm going to do a video coming up here soon on that. And even though I do not have it, but you can see enough to make some educated calls here as to what we've got and what kind of things to look out for. And I just want to put those kind of videos out for people who are thinking about buying these things. Give you some things to think about, because there are some things that we can definitely point out with that quad. So that video to come as well. And yeah, that's it. So thank you guys, everybody, for watching. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. If you are new to my channel, you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for future content and notification, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace and love.